All right, so we got to first look at what are design patterns, um, and then you might ask, well, what are these really all about? Why do we really want to use them? The main idea is some code reuse and mainly design reuse. That is, you reuse a design to solve a problem over and over again because chances are if you have a good design, it'll work for many problems. Okay, so another thing that design patterns are all about are to look at useful patterns of interactions, uh, between objects. And the more you look at these and understand them, the more you can come up with these design patterns, and the better you are at solving problems. So it's in the end, it's all about solving problems. So this is all connected to mastering software design. How do you master software design? First, you want to learn the foundations. So you want to learn some programming languages: C, C++, C Sharp, Java is definitely a good one. That's why we use Java in all our courses. Then you want to learn about data structures, and these days we're learning data structures in C++ and algorithms. So these are the foundations. Once you get past these foundations, then you want to learn principles of good design, like abstraction. How do you come up with abstract ways of solving problems? Encapsulation, good encapsulation properties for your classes, and modularity. So you want to set up your methods so that they're not repetitive. They have like well-defined functionality. So you want to learn principles of good design, and one way to do that is just to write a lot of software. Getting an internship or getting a part-time job doing software design is an excellent way to try to practice all the things that you've learned in your foundations and also get practice doing good design. So then you want to talk to other people and other people who've done the same kinds of things, and if possible, your bosses or other programmers that you might work with who are like the masters. And also you want to read tons of books. So if you look at some of the books that have been written that I've sort of highlighted, oops, don't have that. So one way to study the work of people who've worked on these kinds of things, good design, is read books by people like the Gang of Four, who wrote about design patterns. If you're working in .NET, there's a ton of information. There's also a ton of information about Java design patterns. So that book that I had that I listed in the previous video, Java design patterns, although it's old, it's still worth looking at. So you want to understand some of these approaches that people have used in the past. Some of them you want to memorize, especially things like model view controller. Yeah, I would say memorize that one, if nothing else. Definitely that one is worth memorizing. And then mimic, or just basically use this, take a look at what people have done before and use similar solutions. You don't want to just copy and paste, of course, that's not good. But mimic means to use the same kind of approach and learn how things work. And then, of course, practice. You want hands-on experience in multiple situations. You want to be able to just take any situation and try to apply some of these ideas that you've learned from data structures, different programming languages, using algorithms, and then good design, and apply designs that people have come up in the past to new situations. Okay, here's a summary. So this is from the book by the Gang of Four, Design Patterns, Elements of Reusable Object-Oriented Software. They divide up their design patterns into three kinds of design patterns: creational, that is used for creating objects; structural, that is interactions between classes; and then behavioral, how do things happen when you run a program, what kinds of things get done so that you can have your program behaving in a certain way. We will take a look at all of the ones that are sort of highlighted, like abstract factory. We'll start with singleton, and then we'll look at things like iterator, strategy observer, composite, decorator. You'll see that model view controller is really not one of these design patterns, although most people consider it a design pattern. It is sort of embedded in observer. So observer is actually a more general version of model view controller. Okay, so that's the game plan. That's what we're going to do over the next few videos. We'll start with singleton, and let me just stop here, and then the next thing that we'll look at is singleton. After that, iterator, model view controller, observer, strategy, composite, and the decorator pattern. These are all very useful. All of these, except for model view controller, all of them are from the original book written almost 20 years ago. And so still useful. Singleton, still widely used. So we'll take a look at that in the very next video.